once the head's torqued down, you can move on to setting the ignition timing. So the plate just goes on, fastens on with the 3 screws, which I think I've shown you previously. But the thing to notice is through here. I'm not sure we're going to see it, but this timing mark on here, if you get up close, you will see that there's a little timing mark. Let me see if I can get on that with a torch. Does that help? Probably not. Maybe. But anyway, trust me, once you get close up, you'll see that there's a timing mark in there, and it looks like a T, and that indicates top dead center. But you have to make sure that that is actually top dead center on pistons 1 and 4. And the way I check that is just by putting a very thin blade screwdriver just to check that the crown of the piston's at the very top, which it is there. Okay, and then I've placed the cam into position, and if you keep the cam sprocket off the bar, you can actually get this in, fiddle it in before you attach that. And once those timing marks are correct on the contact breaker points, there are 2 timing marks on this sprocket. Again, not sure you can see them, but they're there, and the flat lines just here, and they've got to line up with the top of this crankcase, which gives you the correct position. And then you move the cam round. Oh, there it is. It's just on this side, so it's just here, and that's got to be level with the top of this case, which it is. So the next thing to do is to rotate the cam round. These lobes on piston 1 are pointing down, and then obviously the hole has to line up on there. So I'm going to fiddle around, and this is loose, and jiggery poker it. That's the position it needs to be in to get the cam chain hooked over. Once I've done that, I shall bolt this back in. You can rotate the engine using the end of the that big bolt on the end of the contact breaker plate, 180 degrees to get the second bolt in. So that's what I'm going to do next. It did take a bit of jiggery poker to get this on, and I think the problem was that the chain has to seat properly on the bottom cog, and if it's not in, it all feels like it's not going to fit. But once I got it sort of clicked into place with jiggling the chain up and down, I was able to get the 2 timing marks on either side completely level, and it's just now a case of swiveling this round. Now, looking at the diagram, these 2 lobes here should be in the down position, which they are, and the hole matches up there to put this sprocket back onto the back plate on that side there. So that all looks right, and I've just checked down here again, and it's at top dead on that marking, so that should be good to go. So I'm just going to put those little screws in now. That's the first one in, and now I'm just going to rotate the engine round so I can get the other screw in. So around it goes. All sounds a bit mechanical at this stage, but anyway. I can get it in from there now. Lovely. Right, the final thing to do is just to pop that cam chain tensioner blade in, and I'm going to now tighten down these 2 bolts here on the back, which will tighten up the cam chain completely. I'm now going to push in this worm drive for the cable. I think it's the taco that runs off that. If you can see that, there's a sleeve in there which just pushes in with that on it, and when it finally comes through, when I show you when I've pushed it in, there'll be a place to put that circlip, and then in the end of here you've got a washer first, and then the new seal, and that'll be ready to go. So that's now in place, and all I have to do is just push that circlip till it clicks down. Clip. I think that's gone on. Yep, so that's now in place, and the next thing to do is just drop that washer and the seal into there. So putting the rocker gear back on in the reverse order of the way it came out should be fairly straightforward. I referred to my old diagram to do it, so here are the followers and the end cap. That's just straightforward. So that's how they go back in, and as soon as I've got all them in, I'll come back. The two oil feed pipes just push back in with a grommet there and that one there. It's obvious which way around they go, they won't go any other way around. And then I've put the gasket into the top of the rubber seal gasket to the top of this head, and that's ready just to place on and buckle it all up. The only thing is I've just got to check on these two dowels because there are two different lengths, and I've ordered loads of different ones. These are long ones, these are short ones, long ones and short ones. I've just got to check which is which before I put that head on properly, so that'll be my next job. And now finally it's time to do the last two bits as far as this goes. This is the oil pump, just making sure you've got the two dowels and the four seals, so one on each dowel and then two seals there. And then the starter motor is just above that, which just slides into there, goes in very easily, so I'm just going to do that. Might need to jiggle the engine a little bit just to make sure that that wheel there lines up with the sprocket in there, but other than that I'm not anticipating any problems. So there we go, that's the oil pump installed. Just note that that's actually a 12mm bolt, the other ones are only 10mm. Well, the heads are anyway for the socket size, and then your starter motor just pushes in and fastens with these two here which have been tightened up. So that's it. The covers and everything I'm having polished, so I'm leaving them off now. Next thing I'm going to do is just mask this all up and get it ready for painting. So all the heads and everything are going to be painted with this high heat VHT paint, and that's my next job really. That's that stuff. It's about £5 a can, and so that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to put the covers on but mask them off at the same time.